question she wants
Sure.
to ask.
Sure.
Tracy, go right ahead.
Hey, Tracy.
Okay. I guess while I have you here, I also have a physical therapist who has mentioned a very tight myofascialness in my body. I'm just kind of tight all over, which is not going to be caused by the endometriosis. So I don't know if you have any oils that can be helpful.
So actually, kind of what we were talking about, like, so tension can be a manifestation of a few different things. So, we're talking about like hitting the autonomic nervous system, which will turn on your potential for detoxification in the body for lymphatic movement. And, you could call it like that therapist is using myofascial, a term, also could be trigger point activity, things like this. A lot of that is stagnant lymph in the body, and then not getting deep enough sleep, which they kind of go hand in hand. And, you might be sleeping and falling asleep normal, but you're not hitting those deeper states where you go into an anabolic state. And so by starting even with what we were talking about with the autonomic nervous system, it will jumpstart the lymphatic system's like function and the ability to detoxify. And then it starts to become easier to unwind the soft tissue.
Got it. Robert, you got that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And I'm glad to talk him through that. And, we've covered some of that in some classes. And actually, even the next lymphatic 6 class, we're going to go and deal with doing lymphatic drainage very specific to the central nervous system, and then deeper to starting to do like kind of trigger point type work in the body. Not going to go blow by blow for each specific trigger point, but just unwinding the mechanisms that make trigger points happen. Because trigger points, they're not just tight areas, they actually cause neurological dysfunction. They'll cause the organs not to work right. They'll cause your, hands not to have proper sensory nerves and things in there. They'll cause you to have blurry vision. They cause all kinds of weird things that the way to look at it is where the problem is not where you're feeling it. Like if you feel pain in your shoulder, the problem with a trigger point is it's somewhere else. It's not like if it hurts here, the trigger point is in your neck, in your back, down your arm, it's somewhere else. And it starts to cause neurological dysfunction. So it starts to cause issues that kind of have a cascading effect through the body. Yeah. I mean, I treated like a perfect example, not to get too graphic, but I treated this woman, a perfect example, had diarrhea every day for 14 years. Like she'd been to every specialist, every doctor, every naturopath. I mean, by the time she came to me, I was like, well, let's just throw out all the things that we normally would do. And it was a series of trigger points down by her belly button. And I treated them in the first session and her diarrhea went away. Who would have thought that diarrhea is a skeletal muscle? You know what I mean? But we still had to do like deeper lymphatic work, and we had to do some other kinds of things to help her to get into deeper sleep, because she'd been sleeping, but she wasn't getting deep sleep. And so we did some work to deepen her sleep, and her digestive tract changed dramatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like getting her on the Tarragon and Tamanu for her daily regimen is the number one thing. But in addition, regularly doing mugwort technique and some sort of ANS balancing.
And I would do lemongrass for balancing out the autonomic nervous system. And the other good thing about the Tamanu and the Tarragon is you're reducing spasms and things down in the gut for the endometriosis. And that's still contributing to the autonomic nervous system. Like that's still having an impact of balancing out and fortifying the parasympathetic activity. So you're kind of in a win-win there. Like you kind of have overlapping treatments, and as the lymphatic system, or excuse me, as the autonomic nervous system gets a bit of a jump start and balances out, it'll be easier to treat lymphatic issues, and then
Okay.
you can start going into unwinding soft tissue. The level after that, I'd probably go into fascial work. Use the fascial blend or terebinth, like have her use terebinth all over her body. But I'd wait until you've treated the autonomic nervous system a couple, 2-3 times, and get her on a little bit of a regiment, and then the tarragon on the gut. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, start like terebinth baths or putting terebinth on the achy parts of the body, but just start unwinding, because 2 ways that you really want to clean up tissue is either terebinth or lovage. Either way, you're cleaning up soft tissue.
Okay.
I tend to use
Okay.
terebinth more for trigger point activity. And
Yeah, you've talked about lovage quite a bit, and I love it.
yeah, lovage will clean up tissue as well. Like it,
But terebinth is more about the trigger points, which
if there's more trigger point activity, it's just a little bit more specific to trigger points, but the lovage just cleans the tissue up no matter what.
okay.
But when you're really trying to unwind some trigger point activity, we just had somebody who they had a really bad strain on this muscle, like up on the upper thigh, like where the thigh and the pelvis kind of meet. And, we didn't know what it was. And I was like, well, when you don't know what it is, you throw terebinth at it, and it reduced the symptoms significantly. They still
Okay.
went to the doctor, they still got it evaluated and everything like that. But still, like if it's arthritis, if it's bone on bone, if it's a muscle strain, if it's a trigger point, the terebinth kind of nails it.
Okay.
It cleans it up. Not necessarily the best pain reliever, but it changes the tissue enough for it to heal.
And Tracy, I'm putting words in your mouth, but you've lived with this pain for decades now. Another month or two is not going to matter. Doing it the right way and unwinding it
Yes.
and healing the root cause is better than worrying about the pain.
Yeah, and I would say you'll probably start feeling relief with the first stage of treatment. Like it's not like you have to set it aside and go, well, later we'll get a little more comfortable. As you start unwinding that stuff, it should start feeling better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy, does that answer all your questions?
Yes, thank you.
And
Okay,
keep us posted, Tracy.
Thank you. I will. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Frank.